So it's time now for me to sit down and create this video that almost feels impossible for me to make. And believe me, I have tried so many times.
I don't know how to do this video.
It has taken me so much time just to even get started on this. It's by far the most difficult video I've ever made. Because to make it, I have to revisit something that broke my heart completely. It's like going through the pain all again. And it breaks me down. And at the same time, making this video makes me revisit moments that filled my heart with more love than I ever thought possible. It's two worlds, pain and beauty, grief and gratitude, and somehow they exist together. And isn't that one of the reasons we are here? To feel it all. The sorrow, the joy, the endings and the beginnings. To ride the waves of life together. And to hold space for each other in the quiet and in the storm. So it's been over 2 months since my last video. And so much have happened. Back then, it was the beginning of May. I spent my days working on the Unity painting for the opening of our store. Painting in my garden, with Nanuk as my company. I remember those days with so much love and warmth. If I only knew how much I would cherish those days for the rest of my life. Just a couple of weeks later, Nanuk became so fragile and weak. It was so heartbreaking to see him in so much pain, but he still had the joy and the spark in his eyes. I think no matter what, he would never lose that. That was his soul shining through. Surrounded by everyone he loved, he fell into his final sleep on May 30th. It was the most peaceful, loving moment, but still the most painful I've ever had to live through. He looked into our eyes so deeply in his last minutes, as if he was telling us that everything was okay, that he was ready. And I thought I was ready to let him go. For the past years, I've known this day would soon come. And I got so much more time with him than I could ever dream of. But nothing could have prepared me for the emptiness that would follow his last breath. It was like the world suddenly became too quiet, too still. Like something essential had gone missing and I didn't know how to breathe without it. Nanuk was part of my life from the very beginning here. I got him the very first thing I did when I moved from the city in 2010. And back then I was just starting to find my place in this world. And from that moment on, he was by my side. In every moment, in every season, in every chapter of my life.
Nanuk, titta in i kameran. None of us.
For almost 15 years, we were inseparable. He was there when I was lost, and when I found myself again, he watched me grow into the one I am today. He was my anchor, my comfort, my wild-hearted friend. We shared the same longing for freedom, the same love for running through the fields in the night, with no plan, just presence and just being. I've experienced some of my most magical moments in nature together with him.
Klara, färdiga, gå!
Being in the midst of grief, there is also deep, endless gratitude for all the love and joy he poured into my life, and for all the hearts he opened around the world. Even though I will miss him every day for the rest of my life, I will carry that love like a light inside of me, and I want it to echo through everything I am and do. I also want to say thank you to all of you for loving Nanuk so much, for your messages, your prayers, your art and gifts. You helped carry him and me through his last year, and I know that your love gave him more time on this earth. Run free now, my love. And someday we will run together again over the misty fields and lakes. With less than a month left until the opening of our physical store in Sollefteå, I found myself in an impossible situation. The timing felt unbearable. I was in deep grief, but there was no space to stop and breathe. I had to close the door to my sorrow and throw myself into the work to make sure we got everything done in time for the opening on June 27th. And I knew I had the most intense work of my life ahead of me. And in some ways, it was a relief to lose myself in something else, to build, to create and to focus. And being surrounded by people I love, my amazing team, it helped so much. But there were moments when the grief would slip through the cracks and I felt like I couldn't breathe. It all felt so unreal. I actually moved into our office in Sollefteå and lived there for over a month, working from early mornings until late in the night. Since I lived 1 hour away from Sollefteå, that would save me a lot of time. And now when Nanuk was gone, I felt like I had nothing to go home to. I barely saw the sun for a month. I felt like being inside a cave, but we were building something beautiful. This project has been part of our lives for over 2 years, and now we were so close to reaching the shore, to bring a vision to life that has been living in our hearts for so long. It all started with a dream of creating a physical space where we could show our creations, our jewelry, my art and photographs, a place that people could step into and feel the soul behind everything we do. It began in this empty space we rented, but in our minds we saw the potential. And then we met Linnea and Johan from Brandkusten, an interior designer and a carpenter, 2 incredible souls who helped us bring the vision to life. Their craftsmanship, their care, their love for details became part of everything. In the first conversation that I ever had with Linnea, she asked if I was going to feel comfortable spending time in the store. And I answered that I prefer being out in nature. And she said, then let's bring nature into your store. And that is exactly what they helped us create. A space that feels like stepping into another world. where every material, every detail has been chosen with so much care and meaning. A place that truly holds the calm and soul of nature, even within these four walls. It became everything I hoped for, and a place I love to be in. So in these final weeks before the opening, I spent most of my time filling the space with our creations. Building little worlds inside the display cases, hanging art and photographs on the walls, letting the place come alive piece by piece. And around me, the team worked tirelessly, organizing, unpacking, learning the systems, making sure everything was ready. Everyone gave their all. I honestly have no words for how deeply grateful I am to be surrounded by such dedicated, kind and talented souls, the most incredible team I could ever imagine. And I will never forget these last weeks. The long days, the long nights, the laughter, the stress, the small miracles. It is incredible that we actually got everything done in time. The night before the opening, just as I was about to go to bed in the office, I heard voices outside the store. And to my surprise, people had already started lining up. On the morning of the opening, a long line was already forming outside the store. People had come from all over, from different parts of Sweden and from countries far beyond. It was so hard to take it all in. I was feeling so emotional from the first second I woke up. Out on the square, just outside the store, Odyssey Media from Sollefteå had helped us create a warm and welcoming atmosphere for everyone who came. They set up a big, beautiful tent, a stage, and made sure people could get something to eat. They took care of the whole event outside and made the whole weekend feel like a big celebration. I'm so deeply grateful for their help, for the energy and the care they brought to this weekend. We could never have done this without them. Close to the opening, we handed out some gift cards for the 5 first people standing in line as a thank you for their incredible dedication. And the energy among the people who stood out there, it was something I will never forget. Even after standing in line for hours and hours, they radiated so much love and joy. There were smiles, laughter, and open hearts. It became like a community out there. Strangers started talking, sharing stories, making new friends. There was so much love in the air, and it moved me so deeply. While the square outside filled with people, we on the inside were getting ready, preparing ourselves to open the doors and to meet every soul who had come. The air was filled with nerves and joy. Just before the opening, we brought out the goodie bags, little gifts we had prepared for the first 150 visitors. Inside each one was a piece of unity, a painting I had created, now carefully divided into 150 small parts. One part for each person, a symbol of how we are all connected. It felt so beautiful to finally place those little pieces of unity into the hands of their new keepers. But just before we opened the doors, we went up on the stage and we received a beautiful gift from Sollefteå municipality.
We are so proud to have you here, and we wish you good luck with your shop. This is Jonna's whole team coming up here. They've done a great job, so give them a warm hand of applause.
I got a chance to say a few words, but it was so hard, because all this day I could barely speak without tears coming.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It means so much, and I'm so touched I can barely speak. I feel so much gratitude. And, yeah. Oh gosh. I love you. We love you. And None of this would have been possible without these amazing people that I'm so lucky to work with. My team, my family, my friends, and all the skilled craftsmen that have been building and shaping this place. So yeah, I'm just so full of gratitude to everyone. And we are so excited to get to meet you all, hopefully today. You're so many. Thank you, everyone.
And to make sure it's a real celebration, we need to cut the ribbon, right?
Then it was finally time to let people in. And Christine from Denmark was our very first visitor. She had spent the whole night outside. Welcoming her into the store and then all the other wonderful people who followed. It was just pure joy. Throughout the whole weekend, I had the honor of meeting and hugging nearly 1,000 people from all over the world. And both I and my team were completely overwhelmed by the warmth and the kindness and the love of the people who came. It still feels almost unreal. It's such a contrast to my normal, very non-social life. The ones I usually see in my everyday life are my close family and friends, which I also work with. And I consider myself being an introvert who loves to be by myself and sometimes feel nervous and drained in social situations. And of course I was nervous this day, but it felt so different. There was no awkward small talk, there were no walls between us, only open hearts meeting each other, crying, laughing, connecting on another level. It felt easier that way, and I had never experienced something similar before. Being in the middle of something so alive, so many wonderful people at one place, so many beautiful smiling faces, so many warm hugs and so much love. No matter how much I try, I just cannot put into words how much this meant to me. I had the honor of meeting some of you in real life, to see that you actually exists more than a name in a comment section. And I want you to know that each and every one of you that I got to meet left an imprint in my heart. I also just want to say how incredibly proud I am of my team. This was our very first day, the first time we ever got to practice running the store for real. And still they handled it with such calm, even with hundreds of people walking through the doors. It was very intense, but they met it with open arms, and I'm just so grateful to share this journey with these people. None of this would have been possible without them. All of this is a co-creation. We all added our own unique parts to make this happen. After the grand opening, I spent much of July in the store together with my amazing team, meeting so many wonderful visitors and followers. And I am still so moved by the feeling that this place truly became what we hoped for. It's a place to see our creations, but also a space to feel something, a place to breathe, to slow down, to take a break from the rest of the world, a place that opens the heart, and a meeting place for people. And every day we get to hear wonderful feedback from our visitors, and it makes us so happy to know that it became just what we wished for. There is so much more I want to share about this, and to show you more footage from the actual store and the thought behind everything, but I will share more about that in another video in the future. I'm just so happy that this place now exists, and that all the work and all the effort for the past 2 years has become something we can now simply enjoy. This whole experience is something I will carry with me forever. Thank you again to each and every one of you who have been part of this journey. To those who visited us, to those who will come one day, and to all of you who support us from afar. It means more than words can say. It was a really strange feeling, the first time I came home again after the intense month in Sollefteå. I had barely been outside at all, and it was so beautiful to see how the fields were full of flowers now. It was summer. I was feeling so emotional coming back to my beautiful home in the forest. It was almost as if I saw it for the very first time. I realized that I had missed it so much. And just to be in nature again, to feel the sun on my skin and to breathe the fresh air. It was so beautiful. But it also felt so heavy to see Nanuk's empty bed. Somehow it felt like I had been in a strange dream for a while, and now when I came back again, so would Nanuk. Coming home gave me space to open the door to grief again. And it's taken time. It's taken strength I didn't know I had, and that's why this video took me so long to finish. A month after Nanuk passed, we buried his ashes out on the meadow, by a large stone where I often sit and enjoy the surroundings. The place looks out over the wide open fields and the lake, where he ran freely all his life. And it brings me so much comfort to know that he now rests there, with the view of freedom before him, always watching the place where his spirit still runs. This season of life has been one of the hardest and one of the most beautiful, and creating this video has been like a healing process in itself. A way to move through the grief and also to remember all the beauty that's still there. There is so much more I could share, but for now I will leave it here, and I look forward to being back, creating new things and sharing more from this journey. But I also look forward to just a normal everyday life again, having a bit more peace and less work now when years of building something has come to an end. A new chapter is on its way. I can feel it. This year has been unusually full, with challenges I have spoken about and others that have stayed beneath the surface. But through it all, I feel endlessly thankful for all of you out there. Thank you for being part of this, and thank you for being here. I'm sending you so much love to all of you, and I see you soon again.